Hello everyone, welcome back to Risa Does Makeup. Today's video is a tutorial using all Colourpop cosmetics. In addition to the makeup tutorial, I will also be doing a demonstration and giving you my thoughts on the new Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. However, these won't be my first impressions. I've actually used this foundation once or twice prior to today. So without any further ado, if you'd like to see a tutorial using a full face of Colourpop, this is the look right here, then please keep on watching. So I'm really excited to get started. I truly enjoy filming makeup tutorials. And I'm so glad that it seems, at least to me, like viewer habits are changing and tutorials are being viewed a lot more. I know my Risa Does Makeup family loves tutorials, so I'm gonna stop talking and we're going to get into putting on the makeup. Now, I'm not going to be using this Pretty Fresh primer because I find the combination of the Pretty Fresh primer and the foundation just too much hydration for my oily skin. I've really been liking the way this works under some of my more matte foundations, but I found when I used these two together, the makeup just slid right off my face. So my first impression of this foundation hasn't been great, but I've heard from quite a few people with oily skin that they still really like this foundation. So I actually went and bought another one because the first shade I purchased is 50W, light 50W. And it's way too light for me. It makes me look like a ghost. And I went by the chart that they had online and yeah, it was not accurate in my case. So when I was at Ulta yesterday, I picked up 100W, medium 100W, which is going to be quite dark, I'm assuming, but I'm gonna mix the two together. And I'm hoping that without the hydrating primer underneath the hydrating foundation, that it will wear a lot longer than it did when I used the combo. We shall see. Oh, I should add that there are a couple of Colourpop items that I don't have. I completely forgot to pick up a concealer. I thought I had a brow pencil from Colourpop, but I don't. And I don't have a lip liner from Colourpop because I really don't like the Colourpop lip liners. Every single one I have ever had has broken. So, where were we? Foundation. Let's see what this 100W looks like on its own. Oh yeah, way too dark and yellow. Let's see what adding a little bit of the 50 does. This might work. So I'm gonna blend it out with my Stands Out sponge. And yeah, this is much better. It's still a little bit yellow, but then again, I chose warm shades. But I like warm shades. I prefer a little bit of yellow in my foundations. And I'm just gonna bring it down my neck and my ears so it's even. This foundation definitely does not give the amount of coverage that I typically like. That's because I have a lot of marks along my jawline from breakouts when I was a teenager. So I'd like to have more coverage there. But this is a nice, light, buildable, I think, to medium coverage. I want to say light, but I know someone's going to say, no, it's more medium. To me, this is light coverage. And I will do a check-in at the end of the day to let you know how it held up without the primer. I'm hoping I'll have better luck with the staying power. Okay, as I mentioned, I don't have a Colourpop concealer. So I'm going to use this one from Maybelline. It's the Instant Age Rewind in the shade Light. And my e.l.f. Camo Concealer Sponge that I love. And that is a little bit too light for the foundation I have on. But I'll make it work. And now I'm just doing a light dusting of my Rimmel Stay Matte powder. Does Colourpop even make a powder? Translucent No Filter Loose Setting Powder. Okay, so they do have one. If you've tried it, let me know if it's any good and I will order it next time. Okay, I know this is 3 things in a row that aren't Colourpop, but I'm going to quickly do my brows using the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil in Soft Blonde. All right, brows are done, so now let's move on to the fun part. Most of these items I purchased at Ulta in store, but I also placed an order from Colourpop directly, and one of the things I picked up was this All That eyeshadow palette. I'm going to start by using a flat shader brush and going into the shade Uncuffed and popping that underneath my brow. And then I am going to take this Sigma diffused crease brush and go into the shade Cha Cha. And I'm going to run that through my crease. Oh, you know what? I should zoom you in. That's better. And now for my lid, I'm gonna take this synthetic brush that I picked up for $1 at Harmon Face Values. It's a concealer brush, and I swear to you, it was just a no-name brand that was $1. So I got the brush a little damp, and now I'm going into the shade Fishnets. Placing that all over my lid. This color is so pretty. It makes the lids look almost like they're wet. So next up, I'm using the liquid liner from Colourpop in black. I always have to check to make sure I'm actually in the frame when I do liquid liner on camera. And I've used this liquid liner a couple of times now, and I think it's really good. It has really good staying power. And then I like to clean up the wings with a little concealer. All right, so now I want to add a little bit of smokiness to the outer corners and soften the liner a little bit. So I am going to go in with the shade The Feels, and I'm using this little e.l.f. concealer brush, and I'm just going over the liquid liner. So can you see the difference? Smoked out liner, not smoked out liner. Now I'm going to curl my eyelashes and apply some mascara. And then I'm going to be applying some falsies from Colourpop. I haven't decided which ones yet. I purchased 2 styles, Chick and Dame. So my mascara's on, but before I put on the lashes, I want to put a little bit of shadow along my lower lash lines. So I'm going to take this Morphe M149, and I'm going to use the shade Silhouette. And I'm just running that along ever so gently along my lower lash lines. I'm not super happy with that, so I'm going to take a little bit more of the shade The Feels and put that along the outer corners to connect the wing liner to the outer corner of my eye. So as you can see, I'm using the same brush I used to smoke out the wing. And you can see here how it looks connected to the wing, and now I'm going to do the same thing to this side. And then for my tear duct, I'm going to use a little bit of the shade Risque. And this is just an old Delium Tools pencil brush. You can use any pencil brush. All right, let's try some lashes. Neither of these are super dramatic, but I think Dame is a little bit more subtle and has more of the cat eye flare to it. So I'm going to go with those. And I'm also going to cut them to make them more of a corner lash. So there's one lash. I'm going to curl it more once it's dry. I like the way these look. What I don't like is that I have some glitter fall out from the eyeshadow. Okay, don't hate me, but I don't have a Colourpop bronzer either. I'm still calling this video a full face of Colourpop because it's like 90% Colourpop, 80%. I'm just going to use this Ulta Beauty bronzer in the shade Warm. I have a pimple right next to my eyebrow, and it's driving me crazy. Well, that didn't help. Okay, blush time. I'm going to use this beautiful shade called Growth Flirt. I like to bring a little bit across my nose and through this area. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of the blush and run it through my creases, my eye creases. Okay, we're almost done. It's time for highlighter. And for that, I'm going to use the Super Shock Cheek in Guilty Pleasure. I completely forgot that this is a creamy highlighter and that I should be using my fingers and not a brush. So, going back in with my fingers. See the difference? And now I want to add just a tad more blush as well. I'm actually going to stamp it on. All right, we just have the lips to do and we are done. So my Kokie lip liner that I was going to use is now looking like this. It looks like I just added something to my July favorites and fails video. So instead I'm using this natural nude lip liner from Sorme. Now for my lips, I'm using the Colourpop Lippy Sticks in the shade Brink. There are no testers now to swatch the color, so I just took a guess, and hopefully this will look good. That's a nice medium rose shade. I also purchased this gorgeous gloss in the shade Here's to You. Here is the completed full face, well, almost full face of Colourpop. This is what the foundation looked like after about 8 hours. I'm very shiny and it has rubbed off in certain areas. I would give this foundation about a 5 out of 10 for oily skin. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did like it, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're not already a member of the Risa Does Makeup family, please hit that subscribe button and join us. I do try to upload new videos at least twice a week. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter under the same username, Risa Does Makeup. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave them for me in the comments. I try to respond to as many as I can. So yeah, that'll do it for this one, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.